Feel. 95.5 KLOS. That is, of course, the latest from INXS, their new single, Heaven Sent. And we have the disc in our hands that is not in the stores yet. We will be sampling some of the tunage from INXS here today.
There you go.
I think we need an engineer in here.
You got a mic. Everybody's got a mic. All right. Mic. Kirk Pengilly is here. Now, he's the guy who plays saxophone. And how many instruments do you actually play on stage?
I play about 20 at one time.
Wow. You know, so does Wayne Newton.
Yeah. He taught me.
God.
And the lead guitar player, Tim Farriss, is here also. Do you sing, Tim? Do you sing?
Well, I sing at home.
Yeah, okay.
But not on stage.
All right, now this
I do a little, yeah.
This is kind of cool in this day and age with INXS in that you guys have been together for a lot of years.
15, actually.
Yeah, you came out under another
Seriously,
name.
15?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I was in diapers when we started.
Must have been, huh?
But you know, you still, still the original lineup.
Exactly the same guys.
Never changed.
Nope, not a one.
Now, first and foremost, it's got to be real cool. You begin at the beginning and you play little packed houses and stuff like that when you first start out. And then you go to what you're up to, which is 100,000-seat stadium shows. And that's got to be cool to go through with the same guys. And how is it? You've kept yourself healthy through all that stuff.
I tell you, I haven't been healthy, but especially this morning.
But I don't know. You know, my son James was asking me the other day. We were watching The Commitments, you know, and after the movie, he really enjoyed it, you know. And he said to me, you know, Dad, it was so sad. You know, they were great. You know, those people, and they started fighting and they split up, and just when they got great, they weren't a band anymore. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, why do you reckon that happened? You know, and I guess in the answer, I sort of discovered why I think maybe we've been together so long, and that is that we've sort of grown up together. You know,
yeah,
we got a lot of the stuff sorted out when we were kids. You know, in the movie, you see that they'll come together through answering ads
through
and
paper,
you know, or the manager goes and finds a singer or whatever, and so these people play music together and then figure out whether they actually get along.
And the relationships then form.
Yeah.
But was the Farriss brothers? It started off as the Farriss brothers?
Yeah, regrettably. I mean, sounds like a circus. You know?
Yeah, kind of. Was it the whole group as we know it then?
Yeah.
Yeah, but before that, Tim and I met in high school, in like second year high school.
Oh God! Now we're really going back.
Yeah, 1971, I think it was, and he and I have been playing in bands ever since. So we had like a band through high school, and
yeah, that's 21 years.
A few years later, Michael and Andrew and Gary had a band, and then Tim came up with the idea of when ours kind of fell to bits of fusing them together. And so it became, in 77, the Farriss Brothers Circus.
Notice that you didn't bring any instruments with you.
Yeah, we can't actually play, so we mime. You know.
Well, we have a guitar here, so you have to play something.
Can someone tune it? We don't know how to. We got roadies that do it.
You're like the wrong people.
We have roadies that tune our guitar.
Nicole's got it.
I don't tune my guitar. I make sure my Rudy tunes it.
All right, now, you guys, it must be kind of funny for you to go, having known Michael all the years you've known him, been with him so long, and then all of a sudden, after you hit it big, he's this big sex symbol who...
That is funny, actually.
I mean, I can imagine that when you're with just you guys, you're together, are you poking fun at him or goofing off and hanging out?
Yeah, we poke a lot of fun at each other. We poke a lot of things at each other.
He's got a lot of things to poke, actually.
Well, now tell us this: in the creative process, how do you do it? You know, the writing has to happen and.
Yeah, so I'm watching your partner here dance.
Yeah, he's making love to himself.
Doing his Michael Hutchins.
I guess. Well, Andrew, my brother, you know, is a fairly prolific writer. It seems like he can write in any situation, anytime, anywhere, which for me is kind of amazing. I mean, I have to be in this sort of the perfect environment.
Yeah,
or something,
me too.
You know, to actually write something and remember it. You know, actually, you know, I can write something. It's just remembering it that's the problem. But he seems to be able to do it anywhere, anytime, and he does. And so, you know, when it comes to recording an album, you know, we have an incredible number of songs to choose between.
He has like 50, and Tim and I have maybe 5 or 6.
like the Beatles and George Harrison. You know, we had that one album per.
Yeah.
So, John, your brother.
That's right.
He plays drums.
Yes.
I didn't know you were.
He lives in LA too.
Yeah. Does he really?
Yeah, actually.
Probably listens. No, he wouldn't listen to you.
So
guys
he's
too
based
early.
somewhere else other than you guys? How many months are you on tour? I just guess it depends if you have an album out.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, for Listen Like These, we toured for about 2 years. For Kick, we toured for about 18 months. And for X, we toured for about, I don't know, close to a year.
What are you going to do with this one?
Well, we're not sure yet, but we're not in any hurry to go on the road at this point. We're definitely going to. But actually, we're sort of thinking more of going back in the studio before we actually take this road this album to the road, mainly because there are so many songs around and in the past that we've never got to record, and they just end up, you know,
on the shelf,
and it's become a real waste, and some of them are turning out to be real gems as well. So we just want to make sure we get them down.
If you're familiar with Bob Coburn, the demigod of rock and roll, he was the first guy that he took me to my first INXS concert.
Yeah, I have fond memories of Bob.
Yeah, another poking story. He was telling me that before we went, he said, "Now I heard a couple of songs, your hits, you know, on the radio and stuff, because the thing about INXS is they have this original angle on music, and then when I went to hear the concert, I was watching you guys on stage, not only musically but performance-wise, you had this angle that nobody else seems to have." Who's responsible for that? Yeah.
Oh, me, of course. Me. I taught Michael everything.
Is it the writing?
No, I think it's because we came out of the really sort of tough pub circuit in Australia, you know, and when we first started, I mean, we'd be lucky if we had sort of, you know, half a dozen people there, and usually they were, you know, sort of friends.
Chicken wire in front of the stage for the flying beers.
We have done something like that, but you know, I mean, and I think our first year as actually INXS, like when we did the first album back in 1980, we did something like 400 shows that year, plus recorded the album. So we kind of, I think we really feel at home on stage, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the Beatles always talked about the fact they went on this 9-month thing where they worked, I think it was in Germany.
Yeah.
And they they were on stage about 9 hours a day.
Wow.
And they talked about how later it was those days they spent doing 9-hour shows or 9 hours on stage that really made them a band.
Yeah, I mean,
truly made you do it.
You really can't get a better rehearsal than doing something like that. And I think, you know, bands today don't have that opportunity. I mean, even in Australia now, there's just not that, you know, the licensing laws changed, and the whole industry's changed, and that doesn't exist anymore. You know?
But let us ask you this: when you're in the studio, being a band that you are, do you all strap your stuff on and put it on tape? That's all at one time.
Well, that's what we're trying to do more and more. I mean, every time we make an album like this one, Welcome to Wherever You Are, you know, we more or less produced this one ourselves with Mark Opitz, who produced Shabu Shabar back in the early days. And but we didn't really want so much a producer as just someone that could be, you know, an outside objectivity sort of guy. And you know, he'd seen us in the pubs, you know, playing in growing up in Australia, and then he toured the world with us when we recorded Live Baby Live, and we basically did this one ourselves. And what we really wanted to try and achieve was just an honest recording of the band, you know, without any of the sort of smoothing out things that tend to happen when you get a real big producer in to produce the record. So I think this album sounds a lot rawer than perhaps some of the past.
From what we hear, Australia has this pretty cool thing, Australian radio. It's not segregated like it is in America. They play all kinds of music on the same station, which sounds great.
Yeah, that's been the way it has been for us for many years growing up there. You know, I think it's starting to change a little bit now because it's starting to be, I don't know what the word is, consulted or something.
Yeah, and there's a lot more stations now too, like a lot, you know, there's over half a dozen FM stations in each city.
So they're trying to pick up the demographics for certain.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It's a shame.
That's it's a waste.
It is.
It's a great original thing that could happen, and that should stay that way.
Well, it should. I hear it used to be like that here, really, in the 70s, but it came the 80s, and the marketing men came in and said, you've got to, you know, do this and do that.
It's still like that here on this these 4 hours every morning.
Good.
We play anything and everything.
Great.
Let us ask you this: when you do the tour this time, how do you play? Because you are a major band, one of the few. There's a handful of major bands right now. And for a while there, it seemed as though the shows went away from the big stadium type of venues and people wanted something more personal. But this summer, there have been several big acts in the, some in the Hollywood Bowl, some in Dodger Stadium. Are you going to do the stadium thing?
Well, we'd probably like to. I mean, the thing is, I think there are, like you were saying, there are a few major bands in the world, and you know, for instance, I mean, I can never imagine ever seeing Queen anywhere but a stadium. You know, in fact, it's a great shame that before Freddie died, they didn't, you know, get to do maybe a stadium tour.
Don't you miss that?
Especially because they could have now.
You feel so cheated. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really a sad thing knowing.
And they were a great stadium band. We did, you know, quite a few sort of shows with them through Europe in stadiams years ago.
Speaking of Freddie, just for a moment, do you think
we didn't get to answer your question, did we? Okay, go on.
It was cool anyway. Whatever you said there must have been really cool. Filled me. Do you think he knew? What was the timing of the movie Wayne's World and when he died? It was like a couple of months before, a month. He probably knew.
I think it was just after, actually.
He died after the movie came out.
before.
He died before, and then the movie came out just after.
right.
I think so, yeah.
Because it would be so cool if he knew how
It would,
big.
wouldn't it? Yeah, that's what made me say that. You know, it's sort of really a sad thing having known Freddie and knowing how much, you know, he wanted to tour the US but you know, they couldn't come here and play clubs. I mean,
so
it's
you-
just not that sort of band.
You knew him pretty intimately.
Yeah, we knew him fairly well. The whole band actually.
Was he as much of a genius as everyone
Yeah.
musically?
Yeah, well, he's one of those people that are so eccentric and so sort of crazy that basically.
He's almost kind of a thespian, you know. He's very operatic. I mean,
Well,
he
they
should have
were-
been an opera singer.
They were
really.
trained classically, or at least he wasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're great guys. I mean,
Miss him.
Brian's really, you know,
Brian
really
May,
nice guy, great guitarist.
They all are. But back to what you were saying before, you know, and I think we've grown up in the pubs and the clubs, and then we've done everything in logical sort of steps and stages, you know, and we've done the arena thing for quite a while now, and really enjoyed that too. And you know, we felt like we were pretty good at it, and now the few stadiums that we've played, you know, we really seem to have taken it that sort of with a great, I don't know, sort of a feeling that it just works, you know, and it's a great thing to do, and something that I personally see as a great
Yeah,
challenge.
to make a stadium feel like a club.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
is
try to
not
make
easy
it
to
like a
do,
big
you know.
pub, you know.
The guitars, everything is very powerful sounding.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see you guys in an intimate setting, but I think I'd rather see you in a forum sort of
So
setting.
long as you had the front rows.
Yeah, I want to see you guys up
Well,
close.
you know,
binoculars.
the radio industry had a unique experience 2 years ago for this radio convention that was in town.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
record
Oh, that's right.
company got you guys
We did
to
the
play,
Whiskey, yeah.
you know, INXS
Yeah, so
on
that was fun,
stage
too.
at the Whiskey.
Yeah.
Jesus, wish I'd known about that. Or
It was pretty wild. I mean, it was actually kind of weird because, I mean, even though it was all industry people, you know, there was a lot of folded arms there kind of watching, you know, but...
Don't you hate that?
Yeah, I hate that. But as it turned out, I mean, the feedback we've gotten over the last couple of years, we still keep running into people and, you know, and they go, we saw you at, you know, the Whiskey, and
Well, I
it's
mean,
fantastic.
I always make a point to spill my beer on people with folded arms.
Well, I was there. My arms weren't folded. I did have a seat in the bathroom, so you couldn't see me.
It's an old Aussie pub trick.
Yeah, I was there, though.
Oh, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to get you up the back there with my beer.
all right, well, here's the cool thing. We have a copy of Welcome to Wherever You Are. It's not released yet. It's not on the stores. You can't find it. You're going to hear music today that you've never heard.
Absolutely.
What is the funkiest tune, the most black-based,
Wishing
get-down,
Well.
nasty thing?
Yeah, wishing well, probably.
Give it here.
Actually.
Can we
Give
do
it
that?
here.
All right, we'll take care of this, and then we'll come back with Cut 9 from Welcome to Wherever You Are, Wishing Well from INXS.
Kirk Pengilly and Tim Farriss are here. We'll be right back.
95.5 KLOS. A little extra there.
Let's hear the beginning of this next one.
Yeah.
It's that power guitar, that prominent thing, man.
Yeah, actually, same
that was-
guitar sound throughout the whole album.
That was Wishing Well from Welcome to Wherever You Are, the new INXS. It is unavailable now. You've never heard that before. We know that.
That's right.
That's really cool, and
Thank
it's
you.
also really INXS.
Yeah, we think so. I mean, but basically, that's what we wanted to try and do, is just go back to the basics and our roots, and just make an album that is really INXS.
And is that, do you think, like, sitting around sort of the Synergy meeting think tank thing, do you go, all right, now, how can we make this music sound like screwing? Because that's what all of it is. It's just, it's so sexy.
I can't answer that. I'm shocked.
And do you have like a couple come in, and while they're doing it, okay, I got it. All right, I'll lead down.
No, but we just actually basically we don't think about it at all. You know, we just go in and do it, and you know that's what we want to record is us, the spontaneity that happens when we first realize, hey, this is sounding pretty cool. You know.
All right, now, realize you want to save it and all. But we talked about this a little earlier. We read about this on the sheet here. You did something that you might have done in the past, but didn't make such a big deal about it. But you worked. There's one cut on this album where you worked with a 60-piece orchestra.
Right. Yeah.
Baby Don't Cry was one that was kind of special because we did it all live, like the band and the 64-piece orchestra.
One cut?
Yeah, one cut.
Yeah,
Well-
but we did a bunch of takes, but you know, it was all totally live. We had sort of two control rooms running, one recording the orchestra and one
You know,
recording us, and John was drumming in the lobby. And
We're going to have to hear it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're gonna have
well,
to play it.
this is the live vocal. I mean, the only overdub on this track
It's a few
was the
backing vocals,
The backing
yeah.
vocals. It was like the studio techs and the secretarial staff and the band next door. And
Little
we got
disappointed
them
you
all in.
didn't bring in the old 60-piece with you. Little disappointed in that.
All right, now, let us also ask
You didn't
this.
have to pay him.
We talked about the fact that you all will strap your stuff on, and when you're putting something on tape, you do it.
Yep,
you
that's
all
right.
do it at one time. how many times will you do it until you get one you dig?
Yeah, well, this album we didn't do any rehearsal. We just went straight in, sort of, so to try and capture that spontaneity. So, I don't know, each song we probably, kind of ran through a few times, fiddle around with the arrangement, fiddle around the sounds, and probably by about the 10th take, we on each song we would have had ready.
So some of them though, you find you go in and the first time you actually get it right, when no one sort of screws up. Then you go, right, now we've got it grooving, let's go for a real good take, and you keep going and going and going.
And never gets better.
And never gets better, so you go back to the one where the first time it was right.
Yeah, cool, man. That's neato.
All right, let's go to Robin. Hello, Robin.
Yes.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Mark and Brian. Who knew?
It's a
Kirk
thing.
and Tim.
Hi.
Hello.
I was
See,
wondering.
they could take Hootie Hoo and make it sound sexy.
Hootie
Ho. I was like, Hootie, digga 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 digga, Hootie. All right, go ahead.
I was wondering what the story was with all of those close-ups on your video.
The song's kind of like, when you hear it on the radio, it's, we kind of call it in your face. And so we wanted to make, a video that was kind of in your face as well.
And so Richard Lowenstein, the director, had all this sort of metal graffiti, what do you call it?
Graffiti.
Confetti and stuff, and was throwing it into these fans, and it was hitting our faces at an incredible speed and going down our mouths, up our nostrils and in our ears.
Yeah.
Cool.
And,
It was good fun.
So we had lots of stuff in our face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's basically the story.
I'm choking on graffiti.
Diddle 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 do.
Not only that, but actually, we're kind of a little, sort of. We've always tried to make our videos performance-based, with maybe a different angle or something, and
Yeah.
we've never been one to get 60 dancers on stage and that sort of thing. So.
I guess the question that most people want to know is, where do you guys shop?
all over the world.
Gotta get.
Man, you got the coolest clothes. I mean, you sit here like, I need that shirt.
Gotta have.
I gotta have some of your clothes. Like,
Actually, I got this shirt in Singapore.
oh yeah, I gotta go there soon.
That's
I'll
it,
buy me a shirt.
Let us ask you this.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Robin.
Bye, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
We had Tom Jones on the program just a few
we
months
just saw
ago.
him.
We went and saw him in...
All right.
Isn't he great in Vegas? Did you see him in Vegas?
No, in London. It was
No.
fantastic.
Was he super? We love him.
Awesome.
Actually, he was fantastic. He did Unbelievable, the MF song,
Right.
which was really wild, and he did Purple Rain, and we were also staying in the same hotel as Prince, and had just been to his show because a lot of his crew are the same guys that we take on the road, and Tom's version of Purple Rain was so much better. It was
David,
unbelievable.
hadn't heard
And dance. I think I'm going to dance now.
I'm gonna dance
Kiss.
now.
God, that's good. But now, is he going to do a project with you guys?
You should see him do the dance so now. It's,
I think I'm gonna dance.
See, I know. He goes,
is that what you call it?
Do it, Tommy.
That's it.
down, baby.
You've got it.
You know what? I tell you
He was
what.
fantastic.
We ought to pull it out. Let's get the Brian's birthday song and play that for him.
You know
He-
what? The card broke.
Oh, no.
We got to have it, Nicole. They got to hear it. We
Actually,
must work this up.
We did It's Not Unusual in Vegas. When we
All right, now see, he
Oh,
told
to
us-
hear you play that.
All right, now here's the thing. We were talking to him. He came up and he did Brian's birthday show, 7 o'clock in the morning.
great.
The guy comes up and he sings It's Not Unusual.
Wearing the plum suit.
Oh, you know that one well, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, he talked about the fact that you guys had come to see him,
Yep.
and that at some point you did do It's Not Unusual when you came out.
Well, we did in Las Vegas because we figured what better place to
There you go.
No,
Do
no,
it.
but he did
Need You Tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live set for a while. Yeah.
So now, is there truth to the fact that you have shared something that you guys wrote with him? And there was talk about at one point some studio action between you and Tom and you.
It's still, we're still talking about it.
Yeah, we're hoping. I mean, it'd be great
don't-
fun.
Yeah, we can't say too much at this point because we're not sure where we're at the moment. But it's
Well,
it's a
We're
high-
just going to talk
big
Michael into
possibility.
it,
Listen, you
He'll
know,
be out of a job,
listen, let us just say, if you were to musically not only share a written piece by the band with Tom Jones, but if you were to musically back him up, Tommy's going to have himself just a big old nasty hit record,
Yeah.
which you know he'd really appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'd probably appreciate it too.
You know,
the residuals from that. Don't you get a cut of that, you
I
think?
hadn't thought of that.
You want some money from it, I think.
you guys, that would be so cool.
Yeah, it would
if
be.
that were to
that's
happen.
what we think too.
Oh, here it is.
Ain't he neat?
This is 7 o'clock in the morning now, and there's like 5,000 people in this auditorium, and then Tommy comes in. Do it, Tommy!
Do it, Tommy.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
Love it.
When I see you hanging about with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry.
Don't you love that guy?
I wanna die.
Oh, Tommy.
What a guy.
Yep, we're all big fans here.
I guess we are. Could be the only ones in L.A., but man, we are. All right? Damn it.
I'm thinking of becoming Tom Farriss, actually.
Cool. All right, I got to go to the phones. Kelvin has to go to the phones.
Okay.
Here's one. Oh, this audio. Okay. Hello, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. Oh, okay, Jonathan. How old are you, bud?
I'm 11.
All right, go ahead. INXS is here.
I'm 11.
All right, go ahead.
Um,
Oh, he's got his radio on.
Okay, Jonathan, can you turn your radio down?
oh, okay.
He'll be right back.
I wanted to know where your band originated from.
From Sydney, Australia.
Yep, Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, we sort of formed in Sydney, and after about 9 months, we moved to the west coast of Australia, to a city called Perth for about 10 months, and then, stuffed around there for a while and went back to Sydney and became INXS.
And Jonathan, they were all younger than you when they met.
Cool, man.
You believe that? They were. They're all like buddies from being a kid.
Jonathan, do you play a musical instrument?
I play the saxophone off and on.
You do?
Terrific.
So do I.
Tell you
Mainly
what,
off.
for you guys are in a unique position to where you can share some advice to those that are younger that do want to become. Is there any one particular I mean, did you guys pick this up as kids and love it, and that was the main thing you wanted to do when you were out of school was play your instrument?
Absolutely. That was, all we wanted to do when we were in school. So I got to be careful what advice I give someone like young Jonathan.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, we it's not all that wholesome advice.
It's a nasty, nasty world.
It's a nasty
Well, basically,
world,
but I mean, I know
But you get to
for
wear neat shirts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know for myself, I've never practiced, and so that's probably really bad advice.
You
I
weren't
was too lazy to practice.
one of those to do scales like until 2 in the morning?
Forget it, no.
Wow.
What's
How
the
could
scale?
you? So you're gifted then because you're great.
Well, I mean, we're kind of good at what we do, and we write it ourselves, and that's how we taught ourselves basically by writing our own songs, and you sort of stick your fingers here and there, and it sounds good, and there you go.
I guess you could apply that with a lot of things, huh?
So you got that, Jonathan?
Jonathan, stick your fingers here and there, and if it feels good,
And don't practice.
go with it. Jonathan, you a Tom Jones fan?
Not really.
Okay,
then
then.
you just forget
Well,
about
beat
it.
around the bush, man. Say it like it is. Come on out with it.
We're not hurt or anything.
When you guys are about to step on a stage and you're sitting back in the wings and you're just about to step out, what's the most important thing you want to accomplish each night you walk out?
That the champagne glass stays full.
and that it's cold.
That'll make it happen. I mean, do you want to make sure that each person that's in the crowd says, hey, that's a good sounding band, or do you want to make sure that you entertain?
Yeah.
What is most important?
Well, the most important thing really is that we want to be on stage. That we're really going to have a good time, and that we're all jamming basically.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from doing so many live shows and being on the road for long times. You start to wonder if after a while you're not becoming a bit automatic.
Let us ask you this:
a live show.
when you're on the road a lot, and when you are on the road, you spend a great deal of time, say, in hotel rooms and whatnot. And realize you guys spend a lot of time together. But do you ever get together in like one hotel room and watch the CBS movie of the week and laugh and joke and and hang?
Yeah,
Kick back and stuff. Yeah.
That keeps it wholesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember having a Super Bowl party in Munich, in Germany, and which seems kind of crazy because none of us really even understand American football.
But you had the party, man.
But it was a good excuse.
It's a reason. Yeah,
But you see, in Germany, there's not a whole lot of English spoken television anyway. So, but we wrecked the room. I guess we got a little bored.
Was it just you guys?
Yeah, it was just our
that's tour
guys.
manager.
So a rock band wrecking a hotel room?
No, we didn't. It was one of those
all
rooms
accidents.
that, you touched the lamp and it fell over and broke.
Stayed in places.
A comedy of errors.
Some guy sort of sat on the bedside table and it collapsed. It was just stuff like that. I mean, it was all an accident.
We definitely do not wreck hotel rooms intentionally. Let's put it that way.
Well, do you guys ever, when you're in this situation, when it's just you and you're sitting there, do you ever take a moment to reflect and realize what you have accomplished from like high school up until now?
It's funny you say that because sort of now that we're sort of all spread out around the globe, I mean, there's only 2 of us living in Sydney, there's 3 of us living in Australia, but basically everyone's all over the world all the time. And now when we are just the 6 of us in a room, you sort of have to stop and take notice, and it's really quite an amazing feeling. There's a real atmosphere in the air.
Glasses start to vibrate.
Yeah, actually it is.
You got to be there for that.
Yeah.
All right. Brian,
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Mark and Brian.
Yo.
Hooty hoo.
Hooty
Who to you?
Ho-tay-ho.
Go ahead.
I've heard that before.
I've got two questions real quick. Your song, The One Thing, what exactly is that about?
Well, it's, about the one thing that's important to us all.
Money?
Procreation.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah, that.
Copulator.
Well, I mean, you asked.
You wanted to know.
Yeah.
It's times like these I wish Michael, the singer, was here, because he writes the lyrics, and quite often we get asked, what are you trying to say in the song here, and
Well, we didn't say a damn thing.
I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
My guitar doesn't talk, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Brian.
And I got one more question. Nicole wanted me to ask if Michael Hutchinson was single.
Yeah, he is.
And don't use Nicole for an excuse there, bud. Brian, we know.
You're into it for yourself.
I think
here.
we understand this. And
Big
say nothing
fella.
wrong with it.
We don't want to judge you.
So he's single. How many are you got? You're married.
Yes.
You're a 10-year-old boy. How about you, Kirk?
I've got a daughter, but I'm not married.
How old's your daughter?
She's 4.
Now, your son is 10 and your daughter's 4.
Yep.
Now, they have probably been to a show where they see Daddy go up on stage and do what he does, and
Oh, yeah.
all these 80,000, 90,000 people go. What do they think is happening?
It's a funny thing. I'm still not too sure that they, really know exactly what's happening. For them, that's just normal. Like when I go to pick James up from school, I don't figure I look like the other dads picking their kids up. And his little classmates say to him, how come your dad's a teenager? And he scratches his head and says, he's not. But it's strange. I think it's something he'll learn to live with as he grows up.
Wow. All right, let's take some quick business here. Come back and play this song with the 60-piece orchestra.
What is it? Cry, baby, cry?
No, baby, don't cry.
Baby, don't cry. Okay, we'll do that. And cool to know that it was live, and it was like your 10th take, and it was everything was live. So bitchin', INXS brand new stuff next. All right, we are going to wrap her up and say goodbye, and then we're going to play this tune for you. Again, do keep in mind, the name of the disc is Welcome to Wherever You Are. It's the brand new INXS. It'll be in stores when?
The 4th of August.
Okay.
It's a Leo album.
So grab a copy. If you're an INXS fan, then you know what you're going to do. And if you're not, you should welcome yourselves into the world of this fabulous rock and roll band, one of the true big bands of today.
Thank you. I'm touched.
Well, but true. So thank you guys both for coming in. Very cool.
No, it was our pleasure. I tell you, it's been great.
Now, you say that this was actually the third take. It was live with a third take.
Yes, it was. See, the orchestras, they come in, and they have to have their sort of half-hourly tea breaks with a biscuit and everything, and it's got to be the right biscuit too, and then they'll play it, so many times, and then they're out of there. So
Did they give you an attitude? Is there a general overall
There's a- yeah, there's
60-piece
sort of a-
orchestra attitude?
Yeah, there's kind of an air of aboveness, But they were really funny because when one of the breaks, a couple of the guys came up to Tim, and they said, "How come each time we do a take, it sounds different?" And Tim said, "Well, we're playing live with you," and they were just astounded. They
said,
like,
"Why?"
Why? Because they're so used to coming and playing on top of a pre-recorded thing. So they were kind of blown out. And by once they found that out, they really like, wow,
Yeah,
this is
their attitude.
something happening.
Did you see them tapping their toes at any time? I mean, did they get into it?
Well,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
funny because there were so many people set up in the studio, and it all had to be divided into little places, and we were all in the control room playing, except for John, who was out in the lobby. And there was these television monitors set up everywhere so that everyone could see the conductor, and it was really strange playing to a conductor.
This is big then.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
big.
Oh, yeah,
this
it
took
was.
hours to put together.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, a lot
it's,
of hours.
It's sort of a misconception, in sort of rock and roll terms. An orchestra, people usually think strings, but this was like a full orchestra. French horns, oboes,
Everything.
Symphony,
harps,
Yeah, all
everything,
that.
tubular
Everything.
bells. So it was like a full
Didn't see
scale
any of
down
them there,
orchestra.
And so you ran through this. You ran through this several times, but the take we're going to hear was the third take
That's
that
right.
you
That's
kept
it.
through, and this
Yep.
is the one you kept.
Yep.
All right, well, here's INXS with a bunch of snot-hole orchestra people.
Guys, again, thank you for coming in.
Thank
we very much
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Best of luck with everything.
No worries, mates.
We'll
All right.
play this, and we'll be right back.